Hello, Simon Rainier, Lynx Armitsare out of Campbell River, British Columbia, and it's a bead making day. First stop though, the woods. That's why we're here.
We are here to find natural wildlife food.
Yeah, we are. We are foraging today.
Hey Daddy, what's that on the plant?
That's a bee. Or a wasp. That's a wasp. Yeah.
That's so cool.
We're looking for some fun stuff. First thing we see is elderflowers.
Elderflower!
This is our
Who you sending it to?
elderflower.
Who you sending it to?
Elderberry bush. Not sending it to anyone. I'm just taking a video.
Send it to your mom and dad.
Okay.
Tell it it's
The elderflowers would be an excellent addition to mead. However, I actually have a big batch of elderflower mead going at home, so we don't need it.
But when we run out, we will.
Always forage ethically, which means only take what you need, and make sure that what you are taking is you're not damaging anything. Don't damage anything. I feel everyone should know. Yep, we have a huckleberry bush over there. It's too early for berries. I am looking for mead ingredients.
I'm looking for spruce tips. I'm looking for spruce tips.
But
my turn to speak. I'm looking for spruce tips.
we're looking for spruce tips, amongst other things. But yeah, so we have
This is where we found that little centipede.
we have the slug around here too somewhere. Yeah.
Don't. We found a centipede over there.
Don't put slugs in your mead.
No. Yeah, we can. Our meat.
So yeah, we have the elderflowers up there. That would be a good thing, theoretically, if I didn't already have it going on. One thing I'm actually kind of tempted by is this plant here is called Sweeter by Death or Sweet After Death. And it's not edible,
Why don't we just...
but you dry it out and it's a natural bug repellent.
What? Natural bug repellent.
Sweet After Death. It keeps the bugs away. Yeah.
From us?
Yeah, away from us, away from the plant. So you dry it out and it keeps bugs away. I may come harvest some of that another time. But I don't have the... I'm not set up to dry it and take care of it right now. So
My
again...
turn to speak.
Okay.
Look at the trail!
Yeah, we have... What else we got? More huckleberry plants.
More huckleberries?
Huckleberries you can tell by their...
Shape.
Yeah, what shape are the branches?
Square!
Yeah, the branches are... I don't know if that's going to focus in properly, but anyway, the branches are square. And that's one of the ways you can tell a huckleberry plant from anything else. We have... If we drop down, this is a... Nope, that's not what I thought it was. I thought it was a salmonberry plant. I don't know what it is, so don't pick it. Anything I'm showing you here today, don't try on your own. Wild edibles are the kind of thing that are risky if you don't know what you're talking about.
Dude, this is an empty stump.
Yeah, don't eat the stump. The only really way...
Any wood stump.
Good.
Like stumps.
The only way to really know what you're doing is safe is if you watch someone else eat it first. Go out in the woods with someone who knows what they're talking about. Watch what they eat. If they put it in their mouth, it's probably okay to put in your mouth. I put a lot of things in my mouth, and so I know which ones are good to swallow. Yeah, let's see what else we can find. Now go.
These are Dandelions. They are the most... That has a very cool flowers and they're very pretty. And the other one has a purple.
Not edible, just pretty. Here's some little tiny salmonberry plants. Again, too early in the season for berries, The shoots of the salmonberries are actually edible. When they're just tiny, you can pick them up.
Talk about these.
I will. You can pick them up, take the spines and outer skin off, and sort of munch down on them. They're a little bit sweet, a little bit peppery, but nothing really to write home about.
Daddy, talk about the phones now.
And since it destroys the plant, I'm not going to pick any. Again, always only pick what you need, and try not to destroy anything. The needs of the forest come before my needs, because I don't. Yeah.
I found something to talk about.
We also have ferns.
Okay.
I think we're a little late in the season for fiddleheads. Most of the ferns have kind of grown up past that stage. So, no fiddleheads, which is okay. Which is okay because I don't like them. They're gross. Yeah, little late in the season for fiddleheads, I think. I haven't found any. Means we missed them. They were probably a few weeks ago. Yeah. What is it?
Don't know.
Me neither. I don't know everything. If you like asparagus, you will probably like fiddleheads. I do not. So I'm just going to stay away from those. But let us see. Fiddleheads taste like asparagus to me. Let's see what else we can find. Don't eat the slugs. More salmonberries. They have these lovely kind of pinky purple flowers. Again, in a few weeks, I'll be back to see if I can find some salmonberries. But for now, other things call to us. This is skunk cabbage. Slugs like it, and it is, broadly speaking, edible. I believe it has to be cooked before you can actually eat it. And frankly, I've never been quite hungry enough to want to try it. I did come across a recipe for you bake like fresh trout in skunk cabbage. That could be worth trying someday. I'll let you know if I ever feel like doing that. Meanwhile, you'll know it by its scent. Note to self, we have elderflower growing right next to salmonberry. Following the principle of what grows together goes together. I'm gonna have to make myself a salmonberry elderflower mead. How awesome does that sound? Not a wild edible, just something cool.
Daddy.
What made this marks?
I do not know.
What do you think made the marks?
Beaver.
That's right.
Daddy, you
Yes?
know what? I found a dead slug again.
Oh, exciting. So a beaver was here.
Daddy, I found
That's kind of cool. Bridge! We found a bridge! Look, dandelions. I'm not picking any today. They are considered a weed. They grow back super quick. Harvest as much of those as you want, honestly. I made a really lovely dandelion and burdock mead last year. A couple of cups of dandelion petals, and I think just like
When I was 5.
a 10,
You did
20
when
grams.
I was 5 years old.
Yeah, 10 or 20 grams of, what's it, burdock root. It was delicious. Another day. Whenever I'm out in the woods foraging or just hiking, I feel it's important for me to take a moment of reverence, appreciate the natural world
My turn.
around, and just
I got a truck now.
just a second.
Guys, we have the field. Daddy,
It's difficult with a small child
come here.
to express that. I'm going this way. So take a moment and just appreciate being in the woods, especially while foraging, is a spiritual experience, if you let it be.
Can we eat your?
Yeah, this is yarrow. It's great for, yes. It's great for teas, that kind of thing. You get a little squish between your fingers, and then a sniff, and it smells quite delicious. I'm going to take just a couple of fronds. There's not a lot growing right here, and you never want to damage things, ideally. or take more than can be spared. This is also exciting.
What?
Tiny little bit of miner's lettuce there. I'm not going to pick that because there's not really a whole lot. I don't want. Griffin is also foraging. Yeah, I'm not going to take it because I don't want to damage that at all. But it's there, so it's cool.
Spruce tips!
And what do we do with spruce tips?
Eat them.
Yeah. The
I'll eat them.
nice little green on the ends. Tastes kind of lemony,
Daddy!
kind of piney. So if you ever wanted to drink like pine sol, I guess you can make a tea out of it.
I'm not going to eat this one. Can you put it in your container?
Yep. Yarrow, by the way, I think will be a great addition to Mead. Apparently it's fairly traditional, as yarrow is found basically across the entire northern hemisphere. I think I was reading somewhere more yarrow. I was reading somewhere there's some debate about whether or not it was an invasive or local species. It's been here long enough that it's part of the ecosystem at this point. And more spruce tips for both yarrow and spruce. Grows together, goes together. Maybe combine them. Anyway, I find them next to the ocean. Spruce seems to like sort of edges of forests. Yarrow likes kind of grasslands. Either way, we got some great, great places for it here. Blackberries too.
Guys, I got a giant one.
When the blackberries,
Guys, look at this. Look at this, Daddy. Look at
it's a huge one. When the blackberries are flowering, collect their leaves and boil them with equal parts sugar and water. A handful of leaves, a bunch of sugar, a bunch of water, and make a really awesome simple syrup. One of my favorite things. Great for sorbets or cakes or anything. Basically, use simple syrup for. Use blackberry simple syrup. Was it mojitos? Yeah. One more time, because it cannot be said enough. If you are foraging, make absolutely 100% sure you know what you're picking. You don't want to get sick. Plants, generally speaking, if you pick them and they're the wrong plant, they can make you really sick. You'll have a tummy ache for a few days. Don't mess around with mushrooms. If you pick the wrong one, you'll die. Or at least that's what I was taught. When it comes to foraging itself, only take a few things from each sort of spot. You never...
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
So good. You never want to damage the tree or the plant you're harvesting from. Always tread with care, I guess is the way to put it. Also, respect people's property. This is a property line here. So we're not going to cross it to do our harvesting. It's their stuff, even if they're not going to use it. One more little tip for when you're out picking or out in the woods.
Daddy, I found another slug.
Watch for slugs. No, make sure to kind of expand your focus every now and then.
Banana slug.
Banana slugs, awesome.
Another one. And another slug.
Anyway, make sure to actually kind of expand your focus every now and then. It's very easy to get sort of like focused on the little things, like the little plants and edibles you're picking, and then you get yourself turned around or lost, or just not notice what's going on around you. So expand your focus. I find out I often have to consciously okay, let's stop, look around, make sure I know where I am. This is a pretty small trail system, so
Daddy, I found another one.
I'm not worried about getting lost. Might step on a slug or two.
Another slug.
So many slugs! Yeah. Don't get lost in the woods. And I'm back, almost as if I never left. This is not going to be necessarily 100% a mead making tutorial at this point. I have other videos on that, other people have other videos on that. Go out and find it. This is just kind of a capper to the whole outdoor adventure. I'm doing 3 batches of mead today. I am doing a spruce tip small mead, another spruce tip mead, and a yarrow mead. The small meads, I use 500 grams of honey per gallon overall, and they're supposed to designed to finish out quick. I'm hoping to be drinking that in a couple of weeks. The other ones are more kind of like the honey wine, and they're going to take a few months. Just because of the nature of things, I would want a recipe. I'm going to ask that you not follow along with this recipe because this is an experiment and I've never made it before. I always get a little bit ticked off when I find mead making videos and they say follow along with me when they've also never made it before, because 90% of mead making videos you see are people experimenting. I would rather you learn from my mistakes than make the same ones. So wait a bit. If you really need to go out and collect these ingredients because it sounds super exciting for you, freeze them. That'll actually help them with the overall process anyway, because it breaks down cell walls of plants and makes it absorb more into the liquid around it. Double bonus, right? Anyway, so what I have is my gallon fermenters, my airlock. Please use an airlock. They're not expensive, and they do so much better than sticking a balloon over the cap. I like the 2-chamber ones as opposed to the kind of 3-piece cylindrical ones. These ones, where I am at least, are a lot easier to find, so that tends to be what I use. But I do like those ones a little better. I have my hydrometer and cylinder. This is so I can measure the alcohol content. At some point I may do a video on how to use this fancy piece of technology. The hydrometer itself, interestingly enough, has been around for a very, very long time. It wasn't used in brewing for a very, very long time. I just found out that if you wanted to find out if you had enough honey in your liquid, you float an egg in it. So I want to try that someday. I have my yeast. I am rehydrating this yeast. You notice how it's like super bubbly. The only reason I do that is to make sure that the yeast is still alive. I don't necessarily know how long it's been on the shelf in the store, and I just want to make sure it's still active and alive. It's not because the yeast necessarily needs to be rehydrated. Turns out it doesn't. But that's why I do it. I have cups of tea. Not just a nice little treat for me, but also for the mead. Adds a nice sort of like tannic quality and a little bit of depth to the flavor. Ever since starting to use it, I've basically come to see it as essential. I don't know if necessarily it would be as essential because I'm using fairly like earthy herbs and that kind of thing. When it comes to adding things into your fermenter, there's a couple of options. I'm going to take the lazy one. I'm just going to dump everything in there and mix it all together and see what happens. You could also steep it, boil it in water, and then either strain it out or leave it in before adding it in. That's generally what I do with dried herbs and things, is I will steep them to kind of help rehydrate them as much as anything. I have a kitchen scale over there. The most important thing you need is a notebook. Write stuff down. This serves two very, very important purposes. First off, if something goes wrong, this will help you track where it went wrong. And secondly, if you really like it, you want to know how to make it again. So this book is filled with my various mead recipes, and I take notes about this one I liked, this one I didn't like. It doesn't have to be complicated. I write ingredients, starting gravity, finishing gravity, and dates. And then if I need to say anything else like this was awful or this was amazing, I write that down. Probably not as often as I should, honestly. I wish I had more notes. But take notes, please. Tea, yeast, ingredients, yeah. One more time for the recipe, just in case you do decide to make this later on. If I'm doing sort of the normal mead, the more traditional one, 1 kilo of honey per gallon. Let it go dry because I like a dry mead. Then rack it, let it age a while, bottle it. For the small meads, I do 500 grams of honey per gallon. And then just basically let it ferment dry and then carbonate and bottle it right away. Because those are just really good young and a really nice thing to drink out on your deck in the evening or morning, afternoon, I don't judge. Yeah, I will follow up with this later on down the line, and we will see what these wonderful new ingredients do to mead. I'm super excited for it. Let's see what happens.